Hey everybody, my name is Sheldon Stenning, and in this video I thought it would be maybe a little bit of fun to talk about how I create some of my album art. Specifically, today we'll talk about this piece here, which I did for my most recent single. For projects like this, I tend to consider them more like an art piece than a client piece. Since it's more about exploring than creating a specific vision. So for this specific piece, honestly, I knew maybe two things. One, I wanted to capture the sort of melancholy feel of the track, and beyond that, I knew definitely that it had to be kind of an anime-inspired piece. I actually wrote this track, the lyrics, based on kind of how I felt and what I saw after completing Neon Genesis Evangelion. So I ended up actually creating this initially. And so what we're looking at here is two things. Firstly, you'll notice it says Bad Crush when the actual project is called Yandere Crush. I put a poll up on Facebook asking which people liked better, and I knew that I wanted it to be called Yandere Crush. I actually had the Bandcamp and a bunch of the other pages and stuff already registered under that name, but I just kind of I needed that affirmation. But to get to this point, this looks nothing like the final piece of work. So what was going on here? I decided that it'd be interesting to kind of use a little bit of texture in this work, so I created a collage to create sort of this character's face and body. And all of this I actually created from images off of Unsplash, which if you've never heard of it or seen it, it's a great resource for freely usable images, so stock photography and things like that. So you can honestly just search something like, I don't know, sunshine, and you have a whole bunch of really high quality, amazing photography at your disposal that you can download and do whatever with. So I focused on some that have sort of these blue hues, and I really like the texture in the hair. But when I got to this point, which is honestly probably, I would guess, 5 hours in, it just didn't feel cohesive enough. It didn't feel finished. And I didn't really like what I was doing kind of with the character's face. I didn't like the contrast between the hair and the background because there honestly was none. But what I did like was the overall composition. I love the sort of messiness combined with the negative space. So from here, I ended up playing around. And something that I love to do is playing with layer effects. You can see over here, I threw just a beige layer on top with an exclusion filter, and then a blue layer on top of that. And if you're unfamiliar with this sort of stuff, this is just beige that I plop down, and these layer effects do different things based on what's underneath it. So what I like about this approach is it lets me kind of play with different color schemes that I might not have thought of initially. Especially it lets me see the composition in new ways, because all the colors are going to shift in unpredictable ways. And a lot of the times it's bad, but you can get a kind of glimmer of something. Oh, I like the way that the hair looks here, or I like the way that this kind of contrasts and plays together, or I like these colors and I don't like these. So I find it really interesting and useful for the right pieces. So here, with the beige and the blue, with another kind of effect on it, the color burn, I absolutely love this look. I love the color scheme, and I love how simple it kind of comes together. But it didn't quite feel appropriate. So of course I went back and I played around even more, which got me to version 4 here. At first glance, this doesn't seem that much different. So the colors are just slightly different. I pulled out the background text to be a different color. And also I did some work with the eyes and the face specifically. So from here, I liked the way that the hair is pulled out. I like that the background text and the figure are one color, but still this color scheme wasn't really doing it for me. So in order to get from here to the final completed piece, I ended up doing some color selections, just selecting everything by color, which you can do by going to select color range, and I knew I wanted all these darker blue colors, but I selected those and just separated out the different colors. And then from there, with new layers, I was able to actually just play with the different colors specifically until I got to where I wanted. Now, something that I really was playing with was, I really like this variation. I love the blue, and there's a slight gradient going on here. You can see it in this layer. But ultimately, when I just pieced it together and played around a little bit more, I really like just the simplicity of this. We've got lots of negative space. It doesn't really need a lot of color, because I think with the amount of texture happening, especially in the face and around the head, and especially in the arm here, it's visually interesting enough. And I think adding too much would really take away from this piece. Yeah, that's kind of how I arrived here, and I would ballpark at the end of the day, or several days, a piece like this took me probably 15 to 20 hours, even though objectively it's very simple. It's really about the process of discovery of what is going to work for something like this and going to a destination that you didn't kind of have mapped out. And I think that's what makes a really cool piece. Yeah, that's why I wanted to share this particular one with you. If you thought this was interesting, please share this, and I'm happy to dive into some of the other kind of cool artworks that I've done in the past. And if you are interested, please do check out Unfamiliar Ceilings by Yandere Crush. It's my personal solo project. I've been making music for almost like 15 years now. I'm old and I hate myself. So yeah, please check that out if you're interested. It's here on YouTube on this very same channel, and I believe it should be up on Spotify and all of those services now. And hopefully I will see you in another video or in some other way. Take care, everyone. Thank you.